Hello students, welcome to the next session. In this particular session, we are going to look on the functions in Python, that is user-defined functions, or the working principle of the user-defined functions, when we use the user-defined functions, and how we can use user-defined functions in Python. So basically, first the syntax will be there, so you must understand the syntax. So in C we have seen there are four types of function. Something was like that, with return type, without return type, with argument, and without argument. So these were the four types of functions in C. But in Python, you need not to specify every type separately. For example, there is a function, named function itself, or name, let's say function name, and you must start that function. Before name you need to use def whenever you are using function. So I must use the comment, so better for your better understanding. So hash, let's say this is the function part, so you must start your function with the name def. This is the keyword, this is the function keyword def. Now let's say the function name is function, or let's say function name. This is the function name, parenthesis, and at the end of the parenthesis you must place colon. In C this was not there, but in Python it is here. You must place the colon. When you hit the enter, in this, let's say there is something print, let's say print hello world, print hello world. So this is our function part. There are no arguments, there are no return values, it is just printing the hello world. So this is the function part. So you must involve main function to call this function, because function is useless until and unless you are calling it. So let's say this is our main function, main, or let's say driver code to drive the function. So in this function, what we are going to do, we are just calling the function. What is the name of function? To call the function, we just use something like this, Control C, and if I paste it over here, so now what will happen if I run this code? This hello world will be printed. So let's run this. So it is hello world. So what is going over here? See, first this function we have written. Next, in the main function we call the function. One thing you must remember, that in Python, since it is interpreter based language, so you must place the function over the main or driver code. So main will come at the end, and all the functions that are involved in your program or in your code, that will come at the, or the before the main function. So you must remember this, because since it is the interpreter based language. All right, so now this was, since we have called this function name, the control goes over there. This is our function name, and it is printing the hello world. Now you need not to declare, whenever in C we were having user defined functions, we were declaring the functions, that is known as function prototype. There were three things. First was function prototype, function definition, and function calling. Here there is only function definition. It is itself function declaration also. Now this is function calling, and this is as a whole function definition. All right, now it was not returning anything, and it was not taking any argument. It was just printing hello world. Now suppose we want to return something. We want to return hello world. We want to print hello world inside this our main function. So what we'll do, return hello world. Now we are returning a string. We need not to specify the return type over here. Simply what we will do, we are taking a variable, let's say message equals to function name, and then we are going to print the message. So now what is going to be happen over here? There is a function that is returning the hello world. All right, now we are calling the function name. Program control is going over there, and this function is returning hello world, and that hello world is collecting inside this message variable, that is a string variable, and since then we are printing the message. Now if I run this code, this is still printing the hello world. All right, so this was the basics. These were the basics of the function. Now instead of this, now let me do one thing, and just think for a second. I'm printing the function name. I'm not doing anything. I'm just printing the function name. So what will happen? Just think for a second. Now if I run this code, what is going to happen over here? It is giving us a memory location. Since function name is a variable, function name is a name identifier for this function, and that has a memory location somewhere in the memory, and since we are printing that particular thing, it is giving us that function name is at this memory location. So now what will happen if I add parenthesis over here? Now run this, it will print hello world because it is returning hello world, and it is printing. If I use simply this like this, it is printing hello world. Now what if I want to print the particular message that is returned by the function in uppercase or lowercase? You can always use manipulation functions. Let's say upper, and use this, and it will be converted into upper, and as well as lower also, lower, and it will also print converted into lowercase. So these are some basic things you must remember, and you must practice about these things in order to get a deep knowledge about these functions. Now let me change something. Let me delete this, and let me delete this also. All right, now there is a function to sum. Let's say def summation. So there is a function that is known as sum, or we can say summation. So what we need to do is we need to pass two arguments. For example, there are x and y, so x comma y. All right, now what is the working of this function? It is simply returning a return x plus y. All right, and in the main function, what we are going to do is there is a z variable, or let's say answer. There are two variables. For example, x equals to 10 and y equals to 20, and we are taking answer equals to function name is summation, and we are passing two variables x comma y. We are passing two variables x comma y, and printing, we are printing the answer. So now if I run this code, what will happen? It will print 30. So now you can see this function is taking the arguments as well as it is returning something. All right, so what are the arguments? X and y are the arguments, and it is returning a value. That value is getting collected in this answer, and then we are printing that particular answer. This is how this code is working. All right, so this is another example of function. Right, so now one very confusing things happen over here also, that is in this thing, how we can define what is the ending of the function, like where the function is getting ended. If I remove this is just the comment. It is not something that is involved in the program. Now if I even remove this is for your understanding. So now how one can differentiate where is the main function and where is the function, user defined function. So this is how you can identify. The first thing, it will start from def, the keyword, and it will have an indentation. Wherever that indentation ends, that means you are now in the main function. So this is the main part, and this is the function part. Even if I run this, it will give the same answer, that is 30. All right, so also for your understanding, you can add the comments, that is main or driver code. See, in Python, indentation is very important. User defined function, indentation is very important over here. All right, now moving forward, let's say there are two strings. All right, there are two strings, let's say hello, and second is world. All right, there are two strings, hello and world, and if I run this code, what is the expected output? Just think for a second, what will be the answer? All right, time for the truth. So why it is giving this error? See, whenever you are defining or giving a value as a string value, you must place that message or string inside single or double quote as per the requirement. Otherwise you'll get the error that hello is not defined. So that is the error. See, it is very important thing that you cannot directly straight away say that this function will return hello world without any space. No, You will say, if anybody asks you what will the return or what will the answer of this code, simply you can say hello is not defined because it is not inside single or double quotes. So any string value, any message, any string is a string when it is defined or written inside single or double quotes. So if I write something like this, and again here also, now if I run this, it is simply hello world. Now there is not a space because we have not given any kind of space. It is simply adding and returning. Now what if I give the space over here? Now hello world. Same goes with what if I add space over here, again hello world. So this is the example of a string. And one more thing you can use in functions is like whenever you want to read inside the function, you can read inside the function as per the questions. That means if there is a question that says you need to print something inside the function, then you have to print that something inside the function. And if that question says that you need to return the value to the main function and print that value inside the main function, so you do the same thing. All right, now one thing is there for the string you must remember. Suppose there are two strings. All right, there are two strings. We are not using function. This is basic example for a string. Regarding string, there are two strings x and y. See, I want to change this e. Now I want to change e from e to z, for example. So in C, what we do, we use index and we change the values based on the requirement. But see, the e value is in first index, so I can write x of 1 equals to z. Can I write this? No, it is not allowed. It is strictly this is strictly not allowed in Python, right? Why it is not allowed? See, strings in Python, that means strings, you must remember this, strings in Python are immutable. What is the meaning of immutable? That means you cannot change the values once it is defined. You can convert the case, but you cannot change the value. See, if I do this and if I print x, it is wrong. It is wrong. That is, str object does not support this assignment. That means strings in Python are immutable. You cannot change the value. Once it is defined, it is defined. Once it is given the value, it has given the value. You cannot change the values inside the strings in Python. You can change the values in C, but you cannot change the values in Python. Clear? Now let's take another example. Let's say there is a string and you need to check or count the number of vowels inside that string. All right, there is a string, let's say message equals to hello world. Same message is there and I need to print the number of vowels. How many number of vowels are there? Hello world. Or let's say there is a bigger string, how is everyone? Clear? This is our string. Now I need to print the number of vowels inside this string. All right, so what we can do in C, we use something like str of I, or message of I equals to a, or message of I equals to e, something like that. We check everything. But now in this we can use a very simple statement. It is very easy in Python to do this. Let's say vowels, or let's say the name of function is count underscore vowels. All right, this is the name of the function, count underscore vowels. All right, and we are passing one string over here, that is message is there. Now in this, what we are doing, we are defining a string that is known as the vowels. You can take any name of the string, that is vowels. How many vowels are there? A, E, I, O, U and A, E, I, O, U. These are the vowels. Clear? Now we need to check everything from this string and need to compare this from this string, like character by character. I need to check every character whether that belongs in this string or not. So how we can do that? For this, we have already seen an operator, a function, that is membership operator. So let's say let's run a loop for there is a character, let's say a ch in, for ch in message. Clear? Now if ch in vowels, if ch in vowels, there's a variable, let's take a variable for here, count equals to 0. Clear? We have taken a variable, and if ch is in vowels, count plus equals to 1. All right, we are doing something like this. Okay, after doing this, what we are doing, we are simply returning the values after this loop. All right, what we are doing, a return count. Right, this was the code of our function. Now what we have to do is we need to call the function. Let's say answer equals to count vowels and pass the message, this is our string, and simply print answer. All right, now our string is hello world, how's everyone. This is our string. We're calling this function, that is count vowels. It is defined as something like this, and this function is returning the count of vowels, and then what we are doing, we are collecting that count inside answer and then printing the answer. So let's run this. This is the number of vowels is 9. So now how it is working, see, we have taken a string, another string that has only the vowels, both small case, that is lowercase, and uppercase, and we have run the loop for ch in message. So what is happening over here, messages are this string, ch is iterating through these characters one by one. At the first time ch will have h. Now suppose ch is having h. Now this if ch in vowels is checking if h in vowels, is there any h in this, yes or no? No, there is no h. That means no increment in the count. Again, second thing is ch will have e. Now it will again check ch is having value e. Again it is checking if e in vowels, is there any e in the vowels? Yes, there is an e. So count plus equals to 1. So this operator, the membership operator, is very important for you to understand. It is very important, membership operator. It checks something inside something. All right, this is how this is done. So for this session, I think it is enough, and we'll have some more questions and more practice questions in functions in coming videos. Thank you very much. Have a good day.